Hey guys, welcome to the channel. So this is my rusty OT4. Unfortunately, I'm getting a small patch of oil from the bottom of the engine. I think it's the brake vacuum pump. So the seal on it wears out over time and you get a small drip coming from it. So I'm going to remove that today, replace it, and then hopefully it's back on the road without a drip. So if this video is any good to you, like and subscribe, and thanks for watching. Let's crack on with it. I've put the van into service mode. A bit of extra space really helps when you're trying to get to the nuts down here. If you're doing this from the floor, then having the extra space at the top really does help. So this is the vacuum pump. It's held on by two nuts, as you can just see there at the top, and then there's also one around the back. So this first nut, you can actually get it from this end. You don't have to go under the van to be able to get it. The second nut round the back, that's a little more tricky. So I'm going to get it up in the air and we'll have a look. So this is how the pump looks from the underside. You can just make out the nut that you need to remove. So the problem with this nut is that you can't get a socket on it. And if it's not been removed in the last 10 years, there's a possibility it's going to be really hard to shift or loosen up. So you can actually get to this with a regular 13mm spanner. But if you're turning and you feel like the nut's going to round off, I suggest you don't go any further. The tool you need for the job is this 13mm spanner. It's an offset spanner and it just gets on the nut and gives you a bit of room to get a bit of leverage on it. If you're not able to get the spanner on properly, then remove these coolant hoses. That gives you lots more extra space. In the end on that job, I picked myself up a long ratchet 13 spanner with a flexible head. This tool gives me loads more leverage on that nut and it just come off so much better. So if you've got one of those lying about, definitely use that, but if you haven't, an offset spanner will do it. So as you can see on my vacuum pump, there's still a drip coming out from there. This old gasket is pretty worn and pretty brittle. And also, it's not an OEM one. So I don't know when that was replaced, but it ain't great. These are the replacement ones. I picked up two. But as you can see, they got the little tags on the end. And they just look much better quality. I'm going to give both surfaces on the pump and on the van a clean up and refit this part. This is the new gasket I've fitted. As you can see, it sits a little proud, which will be great for when you fit it. It will compress and not let any oil out. When you go to refit the pump, make sure this shaft fits all the way back. If it doesn't, you're not going to get that pump on and do the nuts up. So if it's sitting proud, you should be able to turn the engine over and the shaft to go back into the recess until it's flush. It goes on much easier. All in all, I think it took me about 30 minutes to do this job, so not too bad. So that's my van back on the road, hopefully leak free. We'll see what happens. So I've done this job a few times on different vans, and I would recommend getting an OEM gasket, because if you get one off eBay, they solve it for a little time and then they go brittle. You've got to do the job all over again. Also, I would recommend, if you can't get that spanner on that nut and it ain't coming off too well, I would remove those hoses and just make sure you can get in there, get a good bit of leverage on it. Because if you round that nut off, you're going to have to get a hammer and chisel up there, and that's going to take a good hour or so of mucking about. So yeah, I hope the video helped you, and yeah, like and subscribe. Thank you.